Okay, guys, I'm going to go back over this video. It'll be an optional video, but I just want to tackle some of the wording for you guys as we go through this. So it's the AP wording that'll get everybody. So they always talk about stuff like this, okay? So all they're saying is that you have this function right here. Now, there's a couple of options depending if it's a calculator or non-calculator version. You can put it in your calculator and see what the graph looks like. But then just keep reading, and there's some main points. I'm going to put those in pink. So the average rate of change of f. So now we're going back to talk about f. You notice how they're only using f and f, and then they tell you f is f of x. So just got to learn how to read the language. So f and f of x are now the same thing. So if you struggle with it, just go through and say, okay, well, if they're letting f be defined of f of x, anytime I see f, it really means f of x, okay? And this really means f of x. So it's kind of the same thing, or you could just cross this out and put f there and say f defined by the function f. And so it depends on how you feel comfortable. So now we're talking about the average rate of change. So the average rate of change is the same thing as the slope. So once we're dealing with that, we can go, okay, well, if it's slope, then I know I'm possibly dealing with a change in y over a change in x, okay? So as you read this, start making mental notes. So now it tells me it's over an interval. The key word is interval. So if I take that and I pull that information out to here, what are they giving me? They're giving me the interval. So it's an interval where x2 is equal to b and x1 is equal to 1. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys. You've seen this before. Graphical, numerical, algebraic, words. Okay? So, and you can use this in whatever way you feel comfortable. So right now, I'm going to say, well, we may be dealing with slope. So this is change in y over change in x. And so what I put here, I've been starting to put here is it's words, but it's the given. What are they giving us? So they're giving us also in words, they're giving us the interval, which tells us that x2 is equal to b and x1 is equal to 1. All right, so then we've got a key piece right here. Wish I had another color. I'll circle it this time. Is 20. What is 20? Get rid of all this. The average rate of change is 20. So now all of a sudden we have is, and that's signified by a equal sign, which is now 20. So where b is greater than 1. So that's just going to tell you that you're not going to get a negative slope. They're just making sure that you know that. So now it's find an equation that can find the value of b. Find an equation. Well, if you pull the pieces out, you have an equation right here. You just got to figure out the pieces, and that's where graphing helps tremendously. I don't have one, but I'll just do it here. So let's look at the graph. So we've got some random line. I've got to find that other pen. You can fast forward the video until you see me come back. There it is. All right, so we have this line, and we don't know what this line looks like. So we'll just graph it. It really doesn't matter, but if you'd like to graph it accurately, you could. We have this line that looks like this. Okay? And we know from 1 from 1, it goes to B. That's my x1 and x1, x2 and x1 right here. I also know that if I plug in B, I get out f of B, whatever that is. And if I plug in 1, I get f of 1. So these are my y values. So if I take my y values and I take my x values and I plug them into this equation I'm given here, I get a change in y over a change in x is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1, and we know that is equal to 20. So my equation is right here. So it's just the idea of pulling information out, guys. And it takes some time. So if you start working with graphing, and you don't always, like I didn't fill this in, so I really didn't use it. But if you start pulling information out and then start graphing it, it's going to help you guys a lot. So that's that one there. And then I don't know what happened to the other one. It disappeared. Oh, here it is. So let's look at this one. Even though we looked at them yesterday, I'm just trying to kind of break it down a little bit more for people that didn't understand. That's why it's an optional video. So, differentiable. That's a key word. So, that literally means that you can take the derivative. Okay? So if we can take the derivative or find f prime, if we can do that, that means that we have the ability to find a slope. So I'm going to put a little flow chart over here for you. The derivative is the slope of the tangent line at any point, which is the same as the change in y over the change in x of the tangent line. Okay? And that is the same as f prime of x at any point. So there's quite a few things. There's quite a few things there. The derivative is the slope of the tangent line at any point, which really means the change in y over the change in x of the tangent line at any point, which means in general that f prime of x at any point. So this is the key piece, at any point, and that piece right there. So if we're looking at this, we know that this is f of x. Right here. That's f of x. They tell us that. Then they say the tangent line is displayed at x equals 3. So my other pen rolled off. If we take this pink line here, running out of pink. If we take that pink line right there, okay, if we take that pink line, let me shrink this back down so we can see everything. If we take that pink line, we're saying at x equals 3 right here, I want to know what f prime is. So what is f prime at 3? F prime at any point is the same as the change in y over the change in x, which is the slope at the tangent line at any point, which is the same thing as the derivative. So if we work backwards, I want to know the f prime at 3, so I've got to find one of these. Well, they give me the tangent line, so I'm going to change y over the change in x. So I'm going to go and look at this and go, oh, looky there. There's my change in y. which is negative 2. There's my change in x, which is equal to 4. So this is going to equal negative 2 over 4, which is equal to negative 1/2. So this answer here is negative 1/2 based on the fact that f prime at any point is the slope of the tangent line, which is the change in y over the change in x when it comes to a graph. So a lot of wording here, guys, but I really want you to focus in on really what they're telling you, okay? So we're breaking it down to slope right now. That's an optional video for you guys. Good luck.